we're back. Welcome back to my channel. And if you've never been here before, I'm not surprised. I haven't uploaded in a minute. I decided to cosplay as Mimi from the Drew Carey Show for you today, so you can curb that insult. I see it too. And I don't know if I like it. I don't care also. Anyway, I don't normally film in my kitchen, but I have the means to shoot in my kitchen and I want to. Today we're talking about Gabbie Hanna. I talk a little bit about Gabbie Hanna in a few different avenues today, mostly on Twitter. She's been there, you know what I mean? She's been there. Recently, one of Gabbie's tweets went, I don't want to say viral, but it caught a lot of flack for just being one of the Gabbie Hanna's tweets I've ever seen. And I'm gonna read it to you right now. What happened to Britney Spears was 2007's version of cancel culture. Think about that the next time you hop on a hate train. I've been saying it, my friends and I actually have been saying it for a little while. When Gabbie started tweeting about Britney Spears a few weeks ago because she saw the documentary, and Britney's been a hot topic with the Free Britney movement, we were pretty certain that she was going to try and find a way to make what has happened to Britney Spears, which is an actual human tragedy, about herself. And sure as hell, this is the tweet that brought it all together. First of all, there are so many things wrong with this tweet, but I would like to start with the fact that Britney Spears was never canceled. This concept of cancel culture was not a thing in 2007. What did happen though was that Britney was actively being harassed by paparazzi and the media itself. Cancel culture implies that you have done a bad thing and a community of people, largely the internet, is attempting to hold you accountable for the bad thing that you've done. Britney didn't hurt anybody. Britney wasn't malicious towards anyone. Britney was not canceled. The paparazzi saw what was happening to Britney Spears' deteriorating mental state and took advantage of it for a quick buck. The paparazzi at this time was vicious to not just Britney Spears, but to every young female actor, singer, etc. These conversations are coming up about Britney Spears, about Lindsay Lohan, the interview with David Letterman. David Letterman had no problem making women feel uncomfortable. Like, that's just how he did things. I'm not saying that that's okay. I'm just saying that wasn't uncommon. Like, that wasn't a Lindsay Lohan problem. That was an all of his female guests problem. Was that interview sort of mocking her sobriety, Lindsay Lohan's sobriety, inappropriate? Yeah, absolutely. So were all the times when he tried to press her about whether or not she had a boyfriend.
Paul and I, when you get to be this age, and we're just vicariously interested in a lovely young woman like yourself, and what might that be? What kind of a little shred of a fantasy might we take with us now?
I feel so inappropriate.
No. Do you have...
Because we are so old!
All of that's inappropriate. We'll come back to that in a second. Britney Spears was made out to be an unstable human being. She was made out to be having this wildly dangerous mental breakdown by people like her shithole father and her ex-boyfriends.
Justin Timberlake!
Britney is a victim of her circumstance. None of this was a result of Britney doing something bad or something reprehensible or meeting consequences of her actions. She was a victim of being a child star whose life was put into the hands of people that shouldn't have been trusted with it. This tweet that Gabbie made implies that it's similar, speaking in vague enough terms to say that this is similar to my life. Remember when you hop on the Gabbie Hanna hate train that this is the kind of thing that can happen. No. I'm not saying that harassment isn't detrimental to somebody. I'm not saying that you should hate on people, even Gabbie Hanna. I'm not saying you should hate on Gabbie Hanna and that she's fine and she should be able to take it. What I'm saying is, with Gabbie, these things come up, comparing herself to situations, caring about situations, only happens when it's relevant to her. She was just bandying around this whole idea of sexism in the music industry, which is absolutely a thing and absolutely something she could and should care about, for sure. I'm not saying she shouldn't care about these things. What I'm saying is the only time she brings it to light, the only time she ever talks about it is when it's affecting her. When it stops affecting her, she stops talking about it, which means she doesn't care about it unless it's at her doorstep. There were a few tweets in reply to Gabbie about all of this. So in reply to someone basically saying like Gabbie that Britney had done nothing wrong, it wasn't like somebody saying the N-word, that's not really what cancel culture is. Gabbie says the following: okay, but not everyone is canceled for saying the N-word. True. Miley was canceled for smoking pot and dancing on Robin Thicke. False. Miley was not canceled for smoking pot. A controversy in the media is not being canceled. She wasn't like blacklisted. She was not unable to continue working. She was not unable to, you know what I mean? Nobody took anything from her. No one deplatformed Miley Cyrus for smoking salvia and then smoking pot and then dancing on Robin Thicke. What did happen was Robin Thicke was praised for this disgusting song about the blurred lines of consent, and Miley Cyrus was continually slut-shamed for dancing on Robin Thicke. So this seems more like you need to hop back on your misogyny train and a little less like cancel culture. Taylor was canceled for defending herself against rumors. No. And again, the only thing Taylor Swift, I mean, her biggest controversy is writing songs about all the men she's dated, which again is rooted in misogyny, which again, not cancel culture. Very different. Ariana was canceled for licking a donut. Yeah, and that was gross, but no, she wasn't canceled for it. She's like the biggest fucking pop star in the world. Having to take accountability for something is not cancel culture. Shane Dawson is canceled, right? Shane Dawson is what is actually canceled. He needs to shut up and not say a word until the words he has to say are, I did this thing, I really fucked up, I'm sorry, here's how I'm gonna do better, and then doing better. Only then have you taken accountability and can you get to the other side of cancel culture. Simply being called out for wrongdoings is not cancel culture. And even if it was, you're completely negating your first point that Britney was canceled because Britney didn't do any of this.
What?
Same abuse, new word. Yeah, speaking of new word, you should probably find one. Here's the thing. Not every confrontation is, why did I just say confrontation like that? Not every confrontation is riddled with abuse. Someone vehemently disagreeing with you, not abuse. Someone remembering something differently than you do is not abuse, and it's not gaslighting. Are you really having this big of a difficulty just having a human experience? Here's another one. Gabbie, I don't understand why you won't accept that other people disagree with you using the word canceled. Not everyone is going to agree on everything. You don't have to keep stating the same thing over and over. Just accept that some people disagree and let it go. Sage advice, which was of course met with a very hostile response from one Gabbie Hanna. So people can say what they want and disagree with me, but I can't disagree back and continue the conversation. I should just allow people to twist my words. Oh, Gabbie Hanna, bingo, twisting my words. Sounds about right. Okay, no, you shouldn't have. I don't think anyone's twisting your words. I think everybody was taking exactly what you said and correcting the fact that you were wrong. It's okay to just be wrong. Like I wish Gabbie would understand that it's okay to be incorrect about something and to say so. Like it's not that big of a deal to just be wrong. Being wrong happens a lot. That's again part of a human experience. So beyond the Britney sitch, there have been a few interesting tweets from Gabbie that have been tweeted. Happiness is forgiving people who will never apologize. I mean, yeah, technically that's what closure is. But yeah, I mean, just ask Jessie Smiles, Trisha Paytas, Alex James, and Beyonce.
Social media is a digital tombstone.
I can just see the illustration. What's that saying? Like you're pointing fingers at people and there's like 3 pointing back at you, or 4, however. I don't want to finger shame anybody, but life gets so much easier when you remember some people are just dumb. Somebody's MySpace profile says that. You're 30. And I'm not age shaming you. I'm 35. Why are you talking like that? Why are you talking like that? When some people are just dumb. Or, and hear me out, maybe some people have some rational, critical, interesting things to say that don't necessarily completely align with the thing that you've said. And it doesn't make them dumb. It just means you disagree. And that's okay. Reminiscing about the time I didn't want to have sex with a YouTuber. Reminiscing. We're reminiscing about that? Reminiscing about the time I didn't want to have sex with a YouTuber, and he said, "Are you on your period or something?" I hate that she types like that. I know sometimes it's just to fit in characters, but I hate it. I find it harder to type that way. Like, I really have to actively think like that. He said, "Are you on your period or something?" I said no, so he kept trying, but I still didn't have sex with him. And he said, "You're fucking weird, LMAO." Again, it sounds like a 16-year-old wrote that. I know it's just Twitter, but like, Jesus Christ. First of all, reminiscing. To reminisce about something is to look back fondly on something. One of her stands was in my mentions when I tweeted about this. I didn't tag her or anything, and they came to my page unprovoked. The reply on my tweet was like, "What's with the LMAO?" Stan was like,
Oh, because it's an uncomfortable story.
I'm like, okay, well, if it's an uncomfortable story, why are we telling it so flippantly? Like, I don't get it. If you want to tell the story, sure, tell the story. If you want to tell the story flippantly, sure, tell the story. But like, are you reminiscing about this or just like remembering it? And also, why do I feel like I have heard this story before? I don't know, but either way, if she's reminiscing about that, that's fucking weird. I just found out there are grown adults who still go through their significant other's phone. Stop that. I feel like you do that. Or like, at least she stopped like in the last year, because like, sounds like such a Gabbie Hanna. I think she had Vines where she was like going through her significant other's phone, like pretending to.
What are you doing?
Just playing a game.
What game?
Guess the password.
And she was a grown-ass adult then, so. Hi, I DM'd another influencer who was still following me after I unfollowed everyone. Like, hey, I just followed you back again from when I unfollowed everyone, so they weren't confused by the notification. And they unfollowed me. These fake-ass hoes, I swear to God, LMAO. Again, with the language. Okay. So what? So much of like what I think I stick with like people are always
It's like, well, if you don't like Gabbie Hanna, stop fucking paying attention to her.
and I mostly don't. Sometimes she comes up, I don't follow her. She sometimes comes up on my timeline, and then I'm like, I just kind of check in because I used to like Gabbie Hanna and I want to like her again. And I think maybe that's why, because like it's interesting to me how different she is now to how she used to be. And she keeps saying like this is her authentic self. And if this is her authentic self, like I don't think that this Gabbie Hanna would ever reach the level of the old Gabbie Hanna or the fake Gabbie Hanna. And who cares? So what? Somebody unfollowed you on Twitter. Who gives a shit? How about, oh man, that's kind of a bummer. I thought we were friends. That I could understand tweeting about. She's trying to sound like it's such a passive, like, funny thing. And it's coming off like so bitter. Everything's regressing. I feel like we had like the quiet period, and this is just internet wide. Like I feel like we had that quiet period and now everything's starting to like rustle up again. We're getting like cabin fever and like all the influencers are like ready to like explode and like start doing dumb shit again. I don't even know if I made the points I wanted to make. I just started talking. That's really all I have for you guys today. If you like this video, please feel free to give it a like. If you didn't like this video, dislike the hell out of it. It's still engagement. Thanks. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell if you want to be annoyed every time I make a video. Let me know your thoughts about Gabbie Hanna and her penchant for tweeting just top-notch shit. I hope you all have a mediocre day, and I'll see you in the next one.